Larry Steinhouse, and welcome to Money Chat Now. Money Chat Now is a politically charged stock market pre-show giving you the politics of the day and the biggest moves in the stock market. It is presented with comedic common sense and just the right amount of sarcasm by an expert in financial literacy, and hey, that's me, Larry Steinhouse. Today is Thursday, July 7th. Hey, I want to welcome you to the show. We are here live on WWDB Radio, 860 AM in Philadelphia, and we are live on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Hey, of course, you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, True Social, TikTok, all those other social media sites by just searching Larry Steinhouse. And just a reminder, if you're watching online, hit that like button, hit that share button, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. Of course, you can comment live during the show on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And please say hi so I know you're watching. A couple of people saying hi. A couple of people saying hi already. We have Bill and Moshe and Larry and Tom. Thanks, guys. I always appreciate you watching. And, of course, James and the other Tommy. All right, real quick. So don't forget also that if you're commenting from a page that's not the Money Chat Now page, make sure you go to the Money Chat Now fan page on Facebook. Comment there so I know who you are and I can mention you. All right, Money Chat Now, of course, is brought to you by Investor Schooling. And you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday by going to investorschooling.com. And there you will learn about real estate investing and stock options trading from those who do it every day. Hey, today's Thursday, so you should show up. Come on, guys, show up. Hey, I see Ken has joined us too. Thanks, Ken. I appreciate you watching as well. All right, on today's show, of course, we're going to be talking about the recap and the update. We're going to be talking about this being a different kind of recession. We're going to be talking about oil reserves that floated away. Boris Johnson, resigned. We have to talk about the Big Johnson today for sure. We've got COVID vaccine trash and video games. Let's talk about yesterday. All right, so as I promised yesterday, 2 o'clock would be the fireworks, and you can actually look at the chart and see that when the Fed minutes were released, the market went up. The Fed feels that they still need to watch inflation. Their commitment to fight inflation goes beyond their compassion to fight a recession or a serious downturn in the economy. All they care about is inflation. They don't care about whether you and I, can't buy a house or whether we can't do anything that we normally used to do or go on vacation or do anything like that. They just want to make sure that there's no inflation. I still don't understand where they're coming from, but whatever. Anyway, members of the Fed said in the July meeting they would likely see another 50 to 75 basis point move. They did not mention a 100 basis point move, and maybe that's what made them Wall Street happy. In the meeting notes, the Fed also re-justified their raising for the rates in June to 0.75 of a point. The Fed is trying to make an effort to curb the inflation that is now the highest since 1981. If the gross domestic product continues to fall, we will be in an official recession. The reality is that it probably will, and a recession is just not going to be one to be concerned with, at least not this one. I'm going to be talking about that in a little while. Officials are actually coining the term a shallow recession. Yes, folks, we're headed for a shallow recession. So keep that in mind. That's like what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, socialist Democrat or democratic socialism. Anyway, all right. Officials are indicating a series of increases that would take the fund rate from 3.5% a year and then basically a neutral rate of 2.5% for inflation. And just a reminder, we are still below the 2.5% rate in 2019. Of course, it should be expected that the rates will cross over that line and probably hit between 2 and 4% in the near future. You should also note that mortgage interest rates are not all that high at the moment. Everybody's complaining. They're so high, oh no. In the early 2000s, the average rate was 6 to 7%. That's what we're seeing now. Rates should have been rising, and unfortunately, the scamdemic rewrote the future at the time. We will probably not see 3.5% interest rates again, and it's possible I may never see them in my lifetime again. Expect mortgage rates to normalize between 6 and 8%. Look, we simply got a gift that some of us like me took advantage of when the rates hit those historic lows. Look for adjustable rate mortgages to start popping up soon, and I know they are, but look for them. You're going to start to see them all over the place. Yesterday we saw the travel sector, mainly the cruise lines, get killed again. Look, I do believe that these are going to be great long-term plays, but damn, I'm stuck in them now. It's rough. The day before yesterday, we saw the cruise lines bump up a bit on lower oil prices, but even with that, the companies are still treading water. Even though the market did turn green yesterday, there really weren't many winners, actually. Believe it or not, Northrop Grumman was the only one that was a real big winner, and it wasn't that big of a winner. It was only up about 3.5%. Of course, those guys were a weapons manufacturer. All right, let's take a quick look at the futures, and let's talk about, the strange times we're heading into. All right, first of all, we got the Dow is up 105. We have the S&P up 13, and we have the NASDAQ up 71. All right, let's talk about this recession and the different kind of recession. But real quick, I want to mention a couple people just joined us. We got Glenn and Emmanuel and my brother Seth. Thanks, guys. All right, here we go. So the big financial news has been all about the weird times we're in right now. Some say we are in a recession, and others say we're headed for one. I don't know. I used the analogy last week of shooting a bullet straight up in the air. The bullet slows down until it hits that point where it's frozen in air right before it drops back down to the ground. I got to tell you, that's where we are right now. Look, the bullet is frozen in the air, and it's about to come crashing back to Earth. You can feel it in the air, and you can see the little signs of it everywhere. Well, at least at the current moment, it's because the bullet, right? If the bullet is frozen in the air, the experts are so confused by where we are going. According to a Wall Street Journal report, the U.S. economy has experienced 12 recessions since World War II. So we've actually been in 12 recessions since World War II, but each one included two features. Economic output contracted and unemployment rose. So the first part of the history of recession states that economic output contracted. We already know this is true by several reports that are saying so. By definition, a recession is 2 quarters of economic output contraction measured by the gross domestic product index, right? The second part of a recession is higher unemployment. At this moment, we are seeing signs of some unemployment rising from articles about companies like Tesla laying off employees. Some have initiated a hiring freeze, but we still aren't seeing large numbers of unemployment yet. It's actually baffling some experts, and in fact, there are more jobs open than people to work them. At the end of June, 1.3 million Americans were collecting federal unemployment checks, substantially fewer than the 1.7 million collecting them on an average week during the 3 years before the scamdemic, when the economy was considered to be exceptionally strong, right? Just for reference, the number of people receiving unemployment benefits topped 6.5 million during the 2007 to 2009 recession and exceeded 3 million during the 2 earlier downturns. So it's very possible at this moment in time we redefine the word recession. Instead of it just being tied to gross domestic product output, it may now have to include other features as well, such as unemployment numbers. The other thing to think about here is that economies usually run in 7 or 8 year cycles. We outlived this cycle by about 2 years. You know, the 2 years that the government messed with our lives with the scamdemic and stimulus checks. The bottom of the market was around 2011, 2012, and the end of the cycle should have been 2019, 2020. And it looks like we're heading for now 7 more years of downturns, and it's normal. I know it sucks, but it's normal. We lived through them before, and hopefully I will live through them. I'm going to live through at least 2 more complete cycles. So buckle up, Buttercup, and be ready to look for bargains that'll be coming to you. Look, if you're a smart investor, you know what to do. You're going to start to look for these things, and it's going to turn out to be a great play for you, but you're going to have to wait it out to heed your investment. You know, investments are one of those things that takes a little bit of time, so don't be concerned that you're not there yet. It'll happen. All right, let's talk about our oil. Hey, remember when Biden said he was gonna steal oil from our reserves to create an effect that would lower our gas prices? You know, the reserves of oil that we keep in this country in case we can't get any more oil from anywhere else. You know, and basically the reserves would last about a year if we really couldn't get any more. You know, the oil that was there in case of a serious emergency, not the emergency of gas prices too high. No, that's not an emergency, of course, if gas prices are not too high, unless, of course, you're trying to win a favor with voters. You know, that kind of oil is the oil I'm talking about. So did anyone else besides me notice that gas prices actually went up after he did this? Well, they did. They went up by about 85 cents. But wait for this interesting tidbit of news. Biden didn't use the reserves for our good. He sent them overseas for others to use. He sent them to Europe and Asia. So just when you think that Biden can't do anything worse, the news will certainly surprise you again. I'm guessing that Hunter Biden brokered this deal and the big guy got his normal cut. When people say that Biden is part of the plan to destroy America, This is clearly an indication that this isn't a conspiracy theory. This oil mess is for real. He really did this. We truly need to vote to get these traitors out of office. If our vote would actually count, that is. Oh, sorry, YouTube, don't ban me again. Did you hear about the France election where they found millions of uncounted votes? And they were all for the competitor of Macron? I guess they're looking up to their idols here in the United States, and they're learning how to do it the right way. All right, look, let's take a break here, and we get back, we'll talk about more good stuff. See you guys in a minute.
Okay, so you thought about buying and selling real estate. You've thought about investing in the stock market, but don't know where to start. Well, what if you could find a place to unlock strategies to master both real estate and the stock market, all without the headache? That place is Investor Schooling, hosted by Larry Steinhouse, an expert in real estate, financial literacy, and the ins and outs of the stock market. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate, and you will learn mastery of stock techniques such as options and covered calls. You will even get a chance to ask one of your burning questions to the stock options sultan, the master of picks and plays. Call 866-424-2829 for free information and receive a complimentary pass to attend classes, or register online at investorschooling.com. Don't delay. These passes are limited. So what are you waiting for? Call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. Or visit investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. And of course, if you'd like more information on investor schooling, you can go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829, 866-424-2829. Hey, thanks for listening on WWDB Radio, 860 AM in Philadelphia. And if you're watching online, please hit that share button so you can help your friends learn how to make more money and also become very entertained. Hey, hit that like button. Let me know you enjoyed the show. Come on, everybody, hit that like button. I see James and John joined us. Hit that like button, hit that share button, and let everybody else know that you're watching. And Peter just joined us as well. All right. And don't forget to leave comments on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And, of course, I'll try to respond to them live. All right. So far, of course, we've been discussing the recap. And the Dow right now is up 123. The S&P is up 17. And the NASDAQ is up 79. And we talked about the fact that we're in a different kind of recession where unemployment is still low, but the gross domestic product is moving down too. It's kind of a weird place. We also talked about oil reserves that Biden sent elsewhere because he doesn't feel that America needs them. He feels it's more important that we send them across the country, to another country, because he's a traitor. All right, coming up, of course, we have Boris Johnson, and we have COVID vaccine trash and video games. And then, of course, at the end, we have today's picks and plays. But first, did you guys hit that like button? Did you guys hit that share button? Don't forget to leave comments on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitter. And if you're listening on WWDB Radio, be sure to set a preset to this station and listen every day at 7:30. Also, look up Money Chat Now on Facebook when you get home, and let me know what you think of the show. Hey, by the way, before we start the second half, did you guys order my book yet? Come on, all you guys who are watching, order my book. Go to wherever fine books are sold. Look up Money Hacks by Larry Steinhouse. You can get it right now on Kindle or Nook, and actually you can have the physical book in about 2 weeks. So if you want it, it's yours. Go get it. And let me know what you think of it. Also, if you already have ordered it, please leave a review for me on barnesandnoble.com. All right, let's talk about one of my favorite leaders. Oh, boy. My favorite leader to make fun of is the Big Johnson himself. You know, Boris Johnson, whom I refer to as the Big Johnson. Do you remember how the Big Johnson was such a Big Johnson that he ignored his own country's lockdown rules by attending a party with over 100 people? The Big Johnson declared to his peasant subjects that people could not gather in groups of more than 2, and then he closed all the bars and the restaurants, but he, the Big Johnson, partied all night long with over 100 people with no social distancing or masks. Well, the Big Johnson was pressed and squeezed by his countrymen because this incident was told by many, and it deflated the Big Johnson's ego, and it causing him to resign. In the past few days, several cabinet makers jerked off their wigs and resigned because they felt that they could no longer play nicely with the Big Johnson. Well, the Big Johnson announced today that he is softened, and he will definitely resign as prime minister. Now, if we could just get the rest of the Big Johnson-type politicians to come out and resign, maybe the world would go back to being somewhat normal again. On a similar note, did you hear that the mayor of Philadelphia, did you hear what the mayor of Philadelphia said the other day in an interview? He actually said he can't wait to not be mayor anymore. The most interesting part of that is that most people in Philadelphia can't wait either. How did our politicians become such pussies? Anyway, look for the official announcement of the Big Johnson pulling out of his position. This should happen in about 4 hours, and if it lasts longer than that, he may need medical attention. Let's talk about some vaccines. Did you get your vaccine yet? Come on now. The government spent millions of our tax dollars to buy vaccines from companies like Pfizer and Moderna and to make the stock go up so that people like Nancy Pelosi who invest in these stocks would get rich. You didn't comply by getting the vaccine? Well, apparently millions of others didn't either, and that leaves a large surplus of COVID vaccine vials. At one point, the vaccine was scarce and was only really desperate, fearful, nutcase people would drive for hundreds of miles to find a clinic or drugstore to administer the so-called vaccine. Well, now that all the scared people have had their 4 or 5 shots, and still got COVID because of the big lie, but the millions who waited and refused to take part in this deception did not and still will not get the vaccine. So, what to do with all this extra unused vaccine? Well, Moderna just discarded 30 million doses of its COVID-19 shot after failing to find takers. 30 million! How many did they manufacture? Check this out. Germany's health officials have disposed of 3.9 million COVID vaccine doses that were sitting in federal central warehouses and expired the end of June. Canada has disposed of 1.2 million expired doses of Moderna and is set to throw out all 13.6 million expired doses of AstraZeneca COVID vaccine. According to the government health department, all this was according to the government health department, a Moderna chief executive said, "We are now throwing out doses in the garbage." In the garbage? I hope not. Isn't that how outbreaks of diseases get started anyway? The garbage? Really? It's no wonder they tried to push their drug on children. Sales are low and they need a booster of income. Hey, I can't say anything about how I feel about children getting the so-called vaccine because YouTube will shut me down for good, but I think you have a general idea how I feel about protecting a group that saw almost no effect from this thing that happened, the thing that, I talk about on YouTube, and, because YouTube just censors you. Look it up yourself, though, because if I do, YouTube will shut me down. By the way, even if the information is from the CDC or the WHO itself, YouTube will still shut you down. So the vaccines are now being thrown in the garbage. Frankly, I believe they're a lot safer there anyway, so who cares? All right, let's talk a little bit about video games. I was looking for a final story this morning, and I came across a story on video games, and I was instantly reminded of a 22-year-old that I met at a networking event who told me his life's desire is to play video games and live off Bitcoin mining. I think I actually spit my drink while I laughed so hard. But think about the average 19 to 27-year-old. They never had to work, and they never thought their money, and they always thought their money grew on trees. Well, maybe it wasn't trees, but it definitely grew on nodes, right? Nodes are each one of the points in the blockchain that acts as an electronic ledger for Bitcoin transactions. So the millennials and Gen Z people got used to not working and needed something to do, and video games was the answer. Well, all of a sudden, this isn't working so well for the youngins, and now they have to start going back to work. Aw, don't you feel bad? They may actually have to move out from their parents' basement soon, too. This is causing video game sales to slide and slow and their stocks to drop. Video game sales are set to decline annually for the first time in years. Of course, the scamdemic helped bolster sales like every other do something from your home while wearing a mask alone in your living room stock did. The war also took its toll on video game sales. Of course, all the Ukraine, in the Ukraine, instead of playing video games, they're playing real war. And in Russia, the world's 10th largest video game marketplace, because of the sanctions, Russia, many games and gaming devices are no longer available. So Russia is expected to drop to number 14 in the global rankings and lose about $1.2 billion in value, according to a report. Of course, other challenges face the industry, including privacy changes from Apple that make it harder for mobile game developers to track iPhone users and send them notifications of new games being released. Look, I'm not a gamer, but if you're a gamer, let me know what game you're playing, because I'm curious to know what games you're playing. So put out there what game you're playing. Put it down in the comments. Let's take a break here. When we get back, we can see how the futures are doing. I'll see you guys in a minute. Hi, I'm Larry Steinhouse, and I've written a book called Money Hacks. The subtitle to this book is because everything you think you know about money is wrong, and I promise you there are things you think about money that are wrong. There are chapters in this book that I think you will find absolutely fascinating, and some of them are, what is money anyway? Can money buy happiness? I'll bet you don't know the answer to that question. The truth about credit scores, how you can actually use credit cards to rebuild your credit. I also have chapters on being your own bank, how to buy houses with an IRA, and how to invest with other people's money. There are so many other chapters. There are 22 total chapters in this book, and I promise you're going to learn how to make more money and pay less taxes when you buy this book. My name is Larry Steinhouse. The name of the book is Money Hacks. You can get this book wherever fine books are sold, and you can go to barnesandnoble.com right now and pre-order it. I hope that you will enjoy it. All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. By the way, you guys ordered a book yet? Go order the book. What are you waiting for? Come on, James. I see James joined us, and Charles joined us, and Sal joined us, and Peter joined us, and Seth joined us. I like this. This is funny. Peter says, my vaccination is a shot of whiskey once a day. I like it. Very good. All right. So far, of course, we've been discussing the recap and the update, and we've been talking about a different kind of recession going on right now. We talked about oil reserves floating away because of Biden sending them elsewhere. We talked about the big Johnson pulling out. I like it. Yep, he's pulling out of his position. Too many jokes I can make that I'm not allowed to say on the radio. Anyway, we talked about COVID vaccine trash and video games. Coming up, of course, we have today's picks and plays. But first, did you guys hit that like button? Did you guys hit that share button? Let everyone... I'm wondering if the big Johnson's not going to be able to see blue anymore. All right, some of you guys got that joke. All right, if you're old like me, you got the joke. Anyway, let everyone know what great stocks are playing by sharing this information. You can share it on your page or groups that you feel will benefit from the great stock plays. Come on now, leave me comments. Leave me comments on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, and I will certainly let you know that I saw them. All right, let's see. If you're listening on WWDB Radio, set one of your presets to this station every day, and listen every day, I should say, at 7:30 for all you need to know about the politics behind the stock market. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about today. Well, it looks like the dead zone theory that I teach in investor schooling is proving itself with some of the plays. The dead zone ended last week, and this should be an indicator that the market is on its way back up. Now, right now, it's hovering right above 31,000. Now, I personally believe it's not going to go much higher than this. 31,500 or 32,000 will probably be the tops. But remember that we're ratcheting down each day as we get to what I would expect the range to be, and that's the 26,000 to 28,000 range. I actually hope this happens soon so I can have a more predictive cycle in the market. Yeah, I know I really don't want it to drop to 26 to 28, but once it gets there, I believe that's going to be the, if you want to call it the bottom, you can. So that's why I'm actually looking forward to it. But at the same time, hopefully it doesn't happen, right? But whatever. All right, right now, nothing speaks to me as much of a great deal either, so I would stay away from most of the stuff in the stock market. Meta is going to go up higher as it approaches earnings. Apple will also do the same, so both of these are going to be good stocks. Meta had a nice pop yesterday and the day before as well. Look, if you're scared and you want to park your money safely in stocks, look for good dividend-paying stocks like AT&T, General Mills, or something like that. The dividends will keep you earning money on your money while you wait for big moves in the future. By the way, set an alert. I'm going to suggest this. Watch for the S&P to be over 4,000. If the S&P pops over 4,000, it's going to, and it may happen one more time before we're officially in recession, but when your alarm goes off or your alert goes off, buy the 400 SPY puts a few days out. It's going to be a good play. The S&P cannot maintain over 4,000, and that seems to be pretty much where we are, so it's a pretty good indicator that you should buy a put on it. All right, let's talk about where we are right now. Let's talk about what's going on in the Dow. Right now, the Dow is up 127, the S&P is up 17, and the NASDAQ is up 86. Normally at this point, I'd be telling you what I think the market's going to do. I have no idea. It is so bizarre. There's nothing really, it's not really doing anything normal. So I really don't know. Do I think it's going to be a good day? Look, if it stays here, it'll be a good day, right? All right, let's talk about crypto, and let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is hovering in the $20,500 range. And look, I got to tell you that it took a little while to get back above 20. I'm not so sure if it's going to maintain that 20,000. So again, it's not a place for me. I was reading an article this morning about Bitcoin miners who are losing all their money now. They're losing tons of money now because their mining machine can't mine enough Bitcoin to pay for itself, because they're not making enough money mining Bitcoin because there's less transactions, and because Bitcoin, the value of Bitcoin is so low. Remember, they don't get paid in dollars to mine Bitcoin; they get paid in Bitcoin to mine Bitcoin. So whatever, they get a bazillionth of a fraction of a Bitcoin, whatever it may be. That bazillionth of a fraction of a Bitcoin is worth 1/3 of what it was a year ago. So they're getting hurt. So it's really, really pretty bad. Ethereum, by the way, is also trying to get back to about 1,200. And I got to tell you, I see the two of them moving in tandem. I'm not much of a crypto fan, so, I tell you, I personally don't think it's a good idea. But here's something I am a fan of. And I got to tell you, I'm surprised at this one. Gold and silver are sucking wind. It's terrible. The precious metals just keep going down. And, and I don't know, Bitcoin's moving up a little bit, but the precious metals just keep going down. I don't know. It's kind of something really, really weird with gold and silver right now. It's just not doing what it normally does. So right now we got, gold, below 1750 and silver below 20, which does not make me happy because obviously I have a lot of both of the metals. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm not ready to sell it. So as you know, if you're not ready to sell it, you don't take your loss anyway. It's just bad numbers. I actually think it's a good time to buy it. Actually, if I see if it goes down even further, I'm certainly going to add to my position. All right, the Treasury bond is about 2.9%, and it's staying below 3 for now. This surprises me, but I also don't think it's as bad being above 3 as everyone thinks it is. It's not that big of a deal. Oil is moving down, and it's about $99 a barrel, and the average gas price moved down to $4.75. Let's go, Brandon. Oh, boy, can we finally congratulate him that he got oil down about a quarter? I mean, gas prices down about a quarter. He didn't do a damn thing to do it, but he did it anyway, right? All right, and that is pretty much the end of today. My name is Larry Steinhouse. I am the host of Money Chat Now. I am also the CEO of Investor Schooling, and if you'd like to come tonight to class to meet me, go to investorschooling.com, and it'll be a lot of fun. Go to investorschooling.com, sign up for class tonight, and hopefully I will see you tonight. And for everyone out there, make it a profitable day.